Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day. And people, it is 94% humidity here. It's the jungle. I cannot, the fright wig is doing its thing. It's just, this is not my weather. At least it's cooler now. Good morning, Barb. Glad you are here. I think we're in the 70s instead of the mid to upper 90s, but 94% humidity is not fit for anyone. A fish, maybe. A fish. Yeah. So I've got the air conditioner cranking. Upstairs is miserable. Yeah. I remember being a kid and laying in bed dying because it was so bloody hot and humid. Yeah, not my favorite thing. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome. Glad you are here. We'll let people gather, and we have a card from a deck we probably haven't seen in 6 months, maybe. And the card is spot on, as always, and speaking to our current times, as always, right? But I'm hoping that the delivery of the card and the fact that it's showing up today maybe allows people to hear it with their intuitive ears more instead of just their physical ears, to really take this message home and live from it. Even just a little bit more would be helpful. So we'll see how that goes. But as always, let us start with some tapping and some breath. So pick your spot. I like right here. Very soothing, very grounding. Want to anchor ourselves to Mother Earth, sending down roots through our root chakra at the end of our spine, through the soles of our feet. Big tap roots down into Mother Earth, grounding ourselves. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you are here. And once we feel grounded into Mother Earth, also opening the crown chakra and allowing in healing golden light. The light from the divine. And names keep rolling. Your names keep going over and over and over again. So I read that as we need an extra dose today. It looks like someone else is on here whose name hasn't rolled. Glad you're here. And some breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. And as I jumped on Facebook to set up for this video, there was a meme that was basically saying, here's what we think luxury is. Fancy cars, fancy houses, fancy trips, blah, blah, blah. Here's what luxury really is. A slow morning, a good cup of coffee, time with people you love, etc., etc. And I thought, yeah, that's really spot on for where we're at. So our card deck for today, as I said, we haven't seen this one in quite some time. Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Pocket Tarot. And our card for today, if you have this deck and you like to follow along, it's card number 7. Bee Spirit. And I have a particular fond place in my heart for the bees, not just because of what they do for us, but because I had my Mary Kay team when I was a director was Bonnie's Busy Bees, and my license plate, my initials are BRN. My license plate at that time was BRN, the number 2, BUZ, Born to Buzz, because I was moving pretty fast at that point in time. I have slowed down since, but take it slowly. There's an image that I've seen, I think it was, I don't know if it was on Facebook or not, but anyway, it's 2 little bees covered in pollen, all curled up in a flower bloom. They had worn themselves out working so hard, and they were taking a siesta. So, bee spirit, take a breath. Let it go. Sweet results await. The message. The Bee Spirit's message is that sweet rewards are on their way if you are willing to get your ego out of the way. Bee Spirit knows not to let a sense of being separate get in the way of a good thing. Spirit is always producing honey. Miracles and magic are everywhere. When you connect with the great hive, you are vibrating and buzzing in exquisite harmony with all. Bee Spirit asks that your focus be on connectivity. Good morning, Janine. Welcome. Glad you are here. Connectivity. And how frequently lately have we been getting that message? Connection, community, collaboration, cooperation. Yeah. Even when in the face of things that seem to portend the opposite. Your body, heart, soul, and psyche experience total interconnectedness and a true integration when you self-forget. So when you deprioritize self, and see yourself as part of the collective. That doesn't mean you're not taking care of yourself. That doesn't mean you're not doing what's in your highest and best good, but you are factoring in others. You are factoring in others. When you remember that you are a part of a greater unified consciousness. So how able are you to dive into that concept of I am a part of a greater whole, and that there really is no separation. There really is no division. When we live from separation and division, that's when we do the awful stuff that's happening right now. When we come from that place of unified consciousness, that kind of stuff drops away. Bee Spirit wants you to remember that your part in the divine partnership with the conscious universe is being rewarded, even if you can't see it yet, and asks that you share your good fortune as there is plenty of honey for all. Be a part of the larger whole, the force that brings forth all that is sweet and delightful. And then in this particular oracle deck, they have what's called the protection message. So if the card had come to us upside down, we'd do the protection message. I'm going to read it anyway because, again, I think there's things to be learned both from the oracle message and from the protection message. When Bee Spirit comes as your protection, she asks you to be honest with yourself. Do you want to taste the sweet honey others have been making but you believe is unattainable? Do you wonder how others ended up with so much magical honey when you seem to have none? Do you separate from the hive to do it all on your own, or to hoard what honey you have, unwilling to trust that there is support and plenty of sweetness to go around? I think particularly in times, hang on, I dropped the card, particularly in times when we have great difficulties and upheaval going on, it seems logical to draw into ourselves. Thank you, Gwen, for posting that. Yes, yes, yes. Repeat the message. Repeat, repeat. Draw into ourselves, hold back, be the observer, etc. But I think it can also be a sign that this is a time when we need to step forward, share more, put more out there, have increased faith and trust, even in the face of the difficulties. If you have been overworking and overdoing and have not given yourself any time to enjoy the sweetness of life, Bee Spirit is telling you to stop and recharge. Stop and recharge. Even busy bees need to take a break. Remember the two bees in the flower sleeping? So remind yourself that sweetness is everywhere and available to you always when you need it. Tosha Silver, over and over and over in Outrageous Openness, makes the point that it isn't about odds and calculations and whatever. All you need is the one divine unfolding to open things up for yourself. So I'll just share at least one story that I remember from the book, which is that she needed a new apartment, and her friends not so helpfully reminded her that there was a 3% vacancy rate in San Francisco area where she lived. And she's like, yeah, but I just need one apartment. So sometimes playing the odds isn't helpful to us because we think the odds are so low that it could never ever happen. A 3%, vacancy rate, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to find a decent apartment for a good price. She found a decent apartment for a good price. So what do you put your mind to? What do you choose to believe in? This comment, we are all part of a greater whole. If we choose to truly believe in that and spread that word and have more and more believing in that, we'll hit that tipping point. We'll hit that tipping point. Keeping faith and trust. And someone cynical said to me, what if you're wrong? And my response was, if I'm wrong, and if it turns out that that isn't the case, at least I've lived those years in a happier state, doing it in a way that uplifts my spirit. So what if it's wrong the other way? What if you spent your whole life protecting yourself and withholding and not sharing and not connecting and all, and then you find out, oh, that wasn't really the way to go about it? How do you want to feel when you get to the end of your life? Which could be today, could be 50 years from now, who knows? But how do you want to feel when you get to the end of your life and you do that review? What's going to make you feel better? I withheld, I hoarded, I closed in, I shut down, or I shared what I had, I stepped forward in faith, I believed I could, so I did, etc., etc. I think the latter one works for me. Everybody gets to make their choice. Everybody gets to make their choice. So that is our card for today. I also want to show you the back of this card because it's beautiful sacred geometry. Just love that. Very tranquil also with the colors. Love it. So, also wanted to tell you, I had a wonderful day yesterday. I had both of my adult children at home. That has not happened, oh my God, must be 5 years at least. Maybe longer, probably maybe even longer. I mean, I see my daughter and I see my son, but they've not been in the same place at the same time. We had 5 hours. We had 5 hours. It was awesome. So today I am taking my son. He was here overnight and going to Green Bay to pick up his partner, and then we're going to the airport in Appleton and they fly out, and then a couple hours later my sister flies in from Oregon. So the Portland crowd just is exchanging places, and she's going to be here with my other sister from Sun Prairie while I'm on my trip. I leave on Thursday, so we have 2 more days of early morning intuitive guidance, and then you can review a whole bunch of the previous ones. There we go. I'm glad you like that one, Abigail. Awesome. You can review a whole bunch of the old ones while I'm gone, and then I'll come back all refreshed and with much to share with you. I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be good times. Good times. I choose to believe that. Breath in, breath out. So, have an awesome Tuesday. Show you our little bee again. Have bee spirit. Know that the sweet events are coming. Know that the sweet events are all around us if we open our eyes and choose to see them. Little bitty things, a bee on a flower, whatever. So, see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.